Okay. Never borrowed Thomas. Okay. First thing, number one, I believe if I paraphrase it, or who wants to read it for the fun of it?
And you use your forearms singly, or both forearms in a cross block, or your knee to deflect or block the attacker's
Okay.
extremity.
This is not rocket science. Okay. He comes in with a hit, I have to block. If I don't block, you kiss the rest of the technique goodbye. Okay? This is really simple. And this whole thing is really simple. Number two.
Number two, wrap one of your arms or legs around the attacking extremity.
Okay, wrap around. Okay, or if you wear an overhead club, block, wrap around. Okay, wrap this arm around. Okay.
Number three, use the other arm or your body as a brace or base to secure the figure four lock.
Okay. Yeah. Wrap around, body, brace. Okay. Around here. This is my this hand here is actually the brace. Okay. We'll do this with the legs later. It's just easy to do for hand. If it were the thing yesterday with the hand shape, and you're coming around with here, coming around getting the thumb. Okay. The brace is this part of my hand. Okay. That's a figure four. See the four there? Okay.
It's kind of more like a 7 to me.
Well, if you put the other thumb in, it's
See, if you put the other thumb in there, I mean, sorry, Thomas. Once you get this turned around, okay, you've got a 4. The figure 4, okay? And that's really all you need to look for, is to see if you have a figure 4. If you've got the figure 4, you've got a figure 4 lock, okay? Amazing things you learn. Okay.
Okay, number four.
Okay.
Move the attacker's extremity, push-pull rotation on the extremity's y-axis, or applying pressure to the x-axis of the extremity joint to execute the technique and set up for a submission/pin.
God! Okay, now at this point, you have to apply, I would be applying pressure by, either extending out, or you can push down with your hand, okay? And I would lock up, this is this x-axis here, okay? It's for the arm, it's actually the y-axis, it goes up to you, but if you take it from the neck, it's x-axis. Okay. I'm rotating on the y-axis of his arm, okay? And applying pressure either this way or this would be X, this would be Z. But anyway, you're applying pressure against the y-axis, okay? Mm-hmm. Or here, shoulder lock, okay? I'm applying pressure against the x-axis, okay? Because I'm dealing with his body, okay? So
what happens when he resists against the Q-axis?
the Q-axis,
Yeah.
that's why they make Q-tips. Because I'm going to give you a Q-tip. Where's the Q-axis?
Well, see, the thing is, and what I'm trying to illustrate here, because it's been my problem ever since you started introducing the x-axis and the y-axis, I failed math.
Oh, okay. Okay.
My descriptions are snakes.
Yeah, you snake. Yeah, it's however you describe it. Normally with lower ranks, the only reason I'm doing the AD axis and all that other neat stuff is since you guys are very high up. I would never do this with new students. Okay, not unless they've had geometry already. They're not going to get it. Okay, you wrap and trap. Okay, you provide base. Okay, you apply pressure against either the. You apply pressure against the extremity, okay, and that's 1, 2, 3. Which one did I skip? Okay, you wrap.
You
black.
You deflect. You wrap.
Yeah, you deflect. Okay.
You brace.
You wrap.
You apply pressure.
Okay, wrap. You brace, and then you apply pressure against the joint. Okay. And even if you come into the kick, we'll just do it forward here. Even if I come this way and take him down, okay, and take him down this way, if you look here, you still have a figure 4, okay. Or if I don't want to take him down, stand up here. Let's stand on your side. If I take him down this way and wrap and trap this way, and he's on his side, I still have a figure 4. If I want to take, turn around so you're facing that way, swivel on your tummy. If I want to come down this
Watch your
way,
knee,
okay,
mister.
okay, I still have a figure 4, and the same concept applies to any figure 4. Okay, so if you can't think of the name of a particular technique and you're showing this lock, it's a figure 4 lock. Okay, it's a figure 4 leg lock. Okay, and then you can go back and find out what it really was someday. You know, when you have nothing else to do with your life. Okay, so. So, that's the basic concept of figure 4. Now, figure 4s, okay, you have to visualize this. Okay. One variation is whatever extremity I'm after, I'm going to apply direct pressure against its natural. It has a tendency to bend this way, okay, and that's the downward. I'm going to apply pressure.
You want to
against-
hyperextend it.
Hyperextend it, okay. That's one variation. You end up with a figure 4 where the base of the figure 4 is here and the top of the figure 4 is here, okay? So if I want to do his leg, if he comes in with it, okay, and I crack this, okay, and I want to take him down, I'm going to take him, go down, okay, and I'm going to rotate him around, I have a figure 4 here, okay? This is a figure 4. It's the same as the one up there, okay? So you're going to end up either with a figure 4 where you are the top of the figure 4, or if you come to your hip line and you want to come in and shoulder lock. Okay, now I'm rotating the tail of the figure 4. Okay, this is the top of the figure 4. This is the bottom. Here it is. There's the tail. And that's where the pressure is applied. Okay? So any figure 4 is going to have pressure applied either to the midsection of their extremity, if it's, or it's going to be applied to the tail of the 4. Okay. The tail of the 4 actually is you're applying pressure to off balance the person's body. Okay. This off balances a person's body directly. This one won't until you get them up on their toes. Okay. So that's really the only two differences between them. Okay, we said the other area of the problem tends to be with this hand. Okay, a lot of people feel they have to get it up on top. Most people, my arms are too short to do that on most people. I can't even do that on Steve. Okay, because the way it's taught is you get it on top and you straighten out and everything works. If you let your hand rest so that the shoulder is in the cup, okay, it can be in front. Okay, don't have your fingers up here, because if it's up here, when you straighten out, there's no pressure is applied. Okay, and he might be pushed backwards, but what you want to happen is you want this to go down as this goes up. Okay, so if you apply it here and clamp on, or here, okay, and okay, and you straighten out, okay, this, because the fingers are up here, this will keep his shoulder from going up. It obviously works better this way, okay, but keep your palm in front and let it rest on his shoulder. Okay, that'll help the technique work more effectively. Okay, your palms in front, okay, resting on there. You can either tilt him back. Okay, it's very important also, if you're going to tilt him back, you have to step forward, because this maintains your posture, it puts him off balance, and it gets you going for the throw. Okay, because it's the same footwork as a hand throw. Okay, so I just want you to try this again, and we'll see if any other problems come up with this. Okay, so you can't just come around and connect over here on the side. You've got all this room here, and he can do all sorts of mean, nasty things with that hand. including taking it back, okay? So what happens is, when you come in here, you have to get this arm down so you have his arm trapped, okay? And you have to kind of do this and this at the same time, okay?
Get the top of your hand red like mine.
What? Yeah, because if you do this trap and wrap at the same time, even with one hand, let's try this around here. If you do this trap and wrap at one time, as I come around, see what happened? He's gone already. I haven't added this. Okay, if I just do this, you're not getting the same response from his body. And we have this thing about making people go around like this. Jiu-Jitsu. I believe. Okay. So much of what we do has okay, go back like this. Okay. Anyway, even this one. Okay. Hallelujah, Jiu-Jitsu. Anyway. Okay. So I want you to try trapping with your armpit, lack of a better phrase, and making this connection and wrapping around at the same time. And if you just rest your hand here, you can do this throw one-handed. I don't want you to do it, however, because there's an extremely high risk of dislocating his elbow because you have very little control of this person. Okay? All I want you to do is set it up. And you can even come in and go to here, but don't go any further. Okay? Because you may have someone swinging at you with the other arm and you want to trap them too. Something like that. We set down here. Take this person down. Okay? Brought him down. Okay, now. And at this point, we have the figure 4 armbar still. Okay, I have the figure 4. This is a no-brainer. All I have to do to submit him is actually just bring my posture, I don't need to lift up. Okay, all I have to do is bring my butt in, and that executes the armbar. It's also very critical. You never want to, if you have a person in any type of lock or hold, you never want them on their back if you can avoid it. He is in such a strong position, it is pathetic. Okay, you want this puppy on his side, okay, and you want this knee down back here so that he can't turn in to you. It also gives you a lot of support too. Plus, you can feel what he's going to do. Okay, if you switch and do this, okay, this is okay, but you're not going to be able to. It just has to do with the nerves on the shin versus the. You're not going to feel as quickly what he's going to do because this is a hard surface. This is softer. Okay, so you can get a better connection to his body with soft than you can with hard. Okay, you don't. Once you get down, if you lose this hand on the way down, it doesn't matter. If you have this arm underneath, okay, I'm going to have you try submission this way with just one hand, and then I want you to take the hand out, and you can still get a submission because this, with his forearm at the elbow, right in my crotch, and this is what's pushing forward, and this is just here to keep his arm in place.
And it's a figure 4 arm.
And it's a figure 4. It's still a figure 4. Yeah.
Yep.
The figure 4.
Your leg is
You see,
Right.
Could you repeat that sound?
Look,
A figure what?
figure 4.
4. That's interesting.
Shocking.
Shocking, okay? So I want you to try all 3 ways because if you do it right, figure 4 lock is on the ground is tremendously forgiving. Okay, you can mess up a lot and still execute it. Okay, and we haven't gotten funny with him yet, which we need to do after you try this. Down, okay, I'm not getting you to cover all they wanted to, but that's okay. You're going to take your person down. Now, the reason you're in here like this, now, again, the less of you that you have controlling this arm, this is best case scenario. Okay, this is okay. This is worst in terms of your ability to control him. Well, not control him, because you're going to control him. It's just that he's going to get to pain a lot faster, and you can't control your body as well. Okay, so the risk of injury to him, if you go into anything other than this little puppy here, is going to. If I go back and go back and take one leg over and just go back, there's no way to avoid dislocating his elbow. It's just going to happen, okay? Because I don't have the control to manage my roll back. And you need to be aware that anytime you set any kind of lock or hold, the less of you, if the, it's shown formally, using 3 arms and 5 legs, and you go down, you go down to 1 little finger, you may be able to execute the technique perfectly, but you have the control to protect your uke. It's going to be an all or nothing. And so you need to be, your students need to be aware of that. Because otherwise they're going to try all sorts of neat stuff, which is proper to do, but they're going to rack each other up, and then you're going to have other problems. Okay, so what we're going to have you do, okay, the reason you're here is for 2 reasons. One, I want you to take this foot over, okay?
Yeah.
And now, we got to do wrist lock lift still, okay? So I want to do that too. Now I'm going to have you go back. Now what happens with this leg? Okay, any number of things. Okay, number 1, you can leave it under him. Number 2, what my preference is, and that's because I'm not as agile as I used to be. Okay, when I was younger and agile, I would have just brought this one over and done a nice armbar.
Right.
Okay, but since I'm not at that point now, my other alternative, which is still legitimate, is to go down and have it cross-braced to the side of his head.
Actually seems like it would make it even more.
Yeah, this actually puts more pressure on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I go lie down, then this elbow is going to go. Okay. Now, from here, since we have this here, what can happen sometimes is uke decides to bend arm. And Seki's attitude was always help your attacker. If you get in a situation where you're trying to keep an arm bar straight and the guy's trying to bend it, 99 times out of 100, he's going to win because he has the strength and leverage. So what you want to do is let them bend the arm. Bend the arm. Okay, this is cool. Okay, he thinks he's winning. My arm, he is right now. My arm, but now if I simply rotate up this way, I set a shoulder lock. Okay, it's set. This hand here is holding it in place. I'm sorry, is holding it in place. This is, here's my figure 4, so to speak. Oh, sorry.
He's holding it down. Making sure he doesn't go to sleep.
That's an extra added part of the technique. 2 fingers down, you can't breathe. Anyway.
Is that just on your shoulder? Do you feel pain, or what do you feel in your neck?
Right now, I don't feel. This is just.
Okay.
I'm not.
It's all about shoulder now.
I'm not applying any pressure anywhere on him now.
Okay.
Okay. If I lean to my left, where's the pressure?
In the shoulder.
In the shoulder. Okay. And it doesn't require that much. Okay. If I'm lying down, this is going to be much more difficult to do. I don't like to do this lying down because I like to. If I'm going down with a person, I feel I need to be in control. Some people can lie down and they're in control. Okay. But I also have my foot on the side of his head, which keeps him from turning into me. Okay, so can he turn into me? Not really.
Not.
And I haven't applied any pressure anywhere. Okay.
He hasn't. I mean,
So you basically chopped in his right shoulder enough that he can't rotate around.
Right, he can't rotate around it because this
I'm
is.
rolling up on top of his leg
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
And that rolls your neck right into his leg. And
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
and he's stuck.
It doesn't hurt. I just can't move.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. I'm not really doing anything. Yeah, I'm not really doing that. If you want to hold a person down for a long time, this is cool. I would never use this on the street.
No, because he might have buddies.
Because unless I'm on the street, you have to want to dislocate the guy's elbow and get up and get away. Okay? But this is a great pin. Okay? And if he doesn't have any of his friends around and you want to call fire, okay, cool. You can keep him constrained. He can see what's going on. Okay?
See the police arrive.
See the police arrive. You don't have any marks on him. Okay? You're safe.
Leg length. Okay.
My legs are the right length where I can take my foot over and hook the foot under his shoulder. And if I go back, because my legs are the right length, I can hold a person down just with that leg. Because what it's doing is the foot's under the shoulder, back of my calf is against his neck, he tries to get up, it's just all leverage, he's applying pressure against his neck. If you have students who can do that, teach them how to do that, okay? A lot of students won't be able to do it. Is it fair? Who cares? Okay, does it work? Does it work? Yes. And it's just an asset, all of you have certain, there's things you can do that I can't do because of your body structure, et cetera. Okay? And you need to know what your body can do. And it just works very well for me. Okay? Okay, we have this person in an arm bar, okay? And he decides to bend it. Okay, now, at this point, the figure 4, if you watch this carefully, there's a terrific animation here. You gotta watch this, okay? We have a figure 4, bend the arm. We now have the number 4 in Japanese. Okay, 1, 2, okay?
Yep.
Okay.
There's slide 4, but that's it.
You know it looks like a box, right?
It looks like
Two
the
little
box. See the box? See the
Okay.
box here?
You see it?
4.
You know what, I'll work on this.
Okay, where's
Forearm, humerus, forearm, humerus.
Oh, okay, I see,
Okay,
I
so
see, I
you-
see.
So you've got your box,
Okay.
or number 4.
All right.
Actually, I think that's more of a rhomboid.
It's just bad handwriting, okay?
Bad hand.
Somebody did
I
other
used-
kanjis.
I used
Looks
the
like that
wrong brush to write the number 4 while practicing my kanji. Okay, anyway. Okay, once he's here, okay, and he's bent his arm, okay, because he thinks he's going to get out of this puppy. What you need to do is shift this right hand, if you have both hands, to his chest, okay? Then all you have to do is turn to your left. Now, it's really important you have your knee back here,
So you can't.
so he can't rotate. If you have your knee foot up here or in front here, other than he's going to bite it, which will loosen things up a bit, okay, he can roll out of this real easy. Why haven't you pulled your arm out yet? That's the easiest thing to do, because simply by putting this leg in the wrong place, that's all he has to do to get out of it. Okay, now he can do more things. Okay, that's why you have this leg here. Because can you pull your arm out now? It's hard to do. It hurts. It hurts. That's what, okay.
So stop doing it.
Okay. So what I want you to do is just to go back, is let him bend his arm, shift from here to here. Now, if you had this and he bends his arm, you can still do it. Just rest your palm against your tummy. Stick your hips in. When he breaks, it's yummy. Okay. And all you have to do is bring your hips in. Okay. Or you can turn. No, you have to turn to the left. Okay. So just because you lose this hand doesn't mean the technique is out the window. You take this arm out, now it's out the window. Okay. So I want you to try going from the figure 4 arm bar, which actually only has 3 sides, to the number 4 arm bar when he bends his arm, which has 4 sides.
Okay.
This is really where we get into and it's a figure 4 lock, this is really where we get into the issue of crotch space. And this is where you can really spot it in your students and where you can really fix it. And once you fix it here, this is where I usually deal with the issue, and that's a crotch space. Okay. Actually, there are 2 places. One is when you bring him down, okay, here, okay, then you're going to go into an arm bar. Okay. And a lot of people have the person on their back. Where'd he go? Where'd the arm go? Okay. A lot of people, when I'm going to take a person into arm bar, I'll put them on their side, I'll lean into them to get them a little forward, and then I go back. And what that results in is when I go down, there's no crotch space. I'm tight against them, okay? Even, when they do this number, okay, and then go back, this is where you really find it. Okay, again, they tend to, from a standing position, they'll go back, okay, and you got all the space in here. And the way you get rid of that is you have the student put them on their side, okay, and you actually, what you do is you come down and you sit on the back of their arm.
Sit on his shoulder.
Sit on the shoulder,
That's
and
what
then go back, and that hold will be so tight and there will be no crotch space. And at first some of them would go, ooh, I don't want him sitting on my shoulder, that's gross. I said, we're wearing clothes.
Yeah.
Hopefully you washed sometime.
Yeah, okay, turning around to the camera. Okay. This is a figure 4 lock. Most common error I find is 2 things. 1, they grab, okay, which is a real no-no. And then what they try to do to execute it is they go like this. And they say, Sensei, this isn't working. Okay, we're not trying to kill him with his fingertips. Okay,
That can be dead.
if they grab, and also I've got crotch space in here. Okay, you want them in tight. Okay, because what should be happening is that the upper arm should be against your stomach, abdomen, and all you should have to do is you have this set right, and the hand is on their knuckles, not on the back of their hand, and you've got this figure 4 here. Okay, all you should have to do is straighten up. Okay, that's all you have to do. You don't have to lift up. Lifting up is work. You can get a hernia. Okay. Okay. If you want to take this over, excuse me, and then go back, you have to be very careful, but you can. Okay. This is a figure 4. Okay, surprisingly, taking this up, taking it back down like this, okay, is a figure 4. Okay, where you can set your armbar, here. Some people like it here, some people like it on this side. Okay. Yeah, but it's still a figure 4. And one of the things, as you work out and you set up blocks, holds, blocks or holds, is take the time to figure out where your body actually is and what you actually have. And you'll be amazed at how many times you actually end up with a figure 4. Okay? And doing, I know a lot of figure 4 locks, okay? But having thought about it, okay, and when I set a pose now, I realize, gee, this is a figure 4. It's actually making it easier for me to execute these submissions because I know what shape I'm going after. Okay, it's not an accident. Okay, as your friend said, there's a lot of science. Okay, it's not some guy being in the back room or in the closet one night saying, gee, I need to invent a martial art. Okay, let me see what I can do against a bear. Not a lot. Run. Okay, run like that. Oh, by the way, if you know how to run from a bear, I'm not kidding.
Just run faster than the guy with you.
No. You need to find a hill, and you need to run up the hill just a little bit, maybe 15, 20 feet, and then you run parallel to the angle of the hill. A bear's center of we learned this from backpacking. A bear's center of gravity is so low that if it tries to run along a slope, it'll fall over.
I just want to do that, just to watch it.
Okay. Climbing trees is not a safe way to get away from a bear.
Not around here.
Oh, it's
They
not?
climb trees.
They'll go
and
after you.
Some of the bears, I've seen them do this, going after people's food sacks. They put them out of a tree on a rope, etc. And we were in another camp, and we sat up and watched 3 bears. The tree was this wide. They worked on that tree for about 2 hours, and they got the tree to fall over, and they went after the food. They're not stupid animals. Tremendously resourceful.
Hand throw, whatever you want to call it, from lapel grab. And the one point we worked on yesterday was this push in here. Moving out, push, this is to break his balance, and then down in the hand throw. All right, now we're considering this guy, if it didn't snap the wrist already, yeah, he's in pain, but he's not in a whole lot of pain. And it's not really a hard fall, so his body's not shocked by this fall. Now what we typically learn, basic technique we learn, is pull up on this, bring this foot in here, and rotate on this wrist. And that's an excellent technique if that's what you want to do. You want to disable, you turn, you pop, and you snap that wrist. Now, as I say, the weak link in the chain is what goes. So it depends on his anatomy. His elbow could be the weak link. You're gonna hear something pop. You're not gonna know whether it's elbow or the wrist. You don't worry about that. He's disabled. He's not gonna come at you with one arm, and you're out of there. Okay, but from here with this, no matter how good this is, immediately he's going to be saying, "Ah, you got me, you got me." But within a few seconds, even if he doesn't know anything, he's going to start figuring something out. And notice exactly what he's doing. He moves those feet, and now I've lost this hold. And once he moves the feet and I've lost the hold, all he's got to do is pull his elbow down, and he's out of it. Okay, so that hold's not going to last more than about 15 or 20 seconds before he's already figured out a way out of it. Okay, so we're going to do the push. That's we want to concentrate on that, on the takedown. Keep down. So we got to figure out what we can do to keep him from doing that turn, because that's going to be almost an instinctive thing that he's going to figure out how to do. All right. Instead of just coming in here and bringing this foot behind the back and twisting this around, what you can do to keep him from using those legs to scoot out this way, okay, instead of bringing this foot in behind the shoulder blades, you want to put it in his armpit and push. Now notice what happens there. I can keep this leg behind here, keep this leg, and now when by getting him slightly turned forward, his body's somewhat pointing down. Now he's lost any power to push off and move those legs. See, the feet actually come up off the ground, so he's lost any power to move those legs and hips. And now he's got nowhere to go. And any struggle he makes, we'll do it from this side. See, okay. Then continue down, push him back. Okay. Now any struggle he makes, I just give a little more crank right here. Every time he tries to struggle, and just from that position, he's not going anywhere. And now here, if I don't feel this is I'm in a good position, I can here. Okay, that feels better, or that feels better. That's a very tight, very full. But all we've done is one little thing to tilt his body just slightly, so he loses any power to use his legs to scoot out of that. Okay? Remember the one thing that we worked on was, after you stomp the foot, you step back. Notice how it makes it easier to get the foot, and he's already on his way down. Okay? Now, for the submission, I saw people doing this, and invariably, almost everybody either did this. Let's turn this way. So you can see. Yeah. Almost invariably, everybody did either this one, okay, or they did this one. Okay, almost everybody did that one, so almost everybody knows those, right? But there's a problem with those techniques. Number one is, again, we're talking about a committed attacker, someone who's still got some fight in him. And let's face it, just stepping back and bumping him down, he falls backward. That doesn't do anything to him. He's certainly not going to be disabled. Now, yeah, if I want to, I'll just sit on the knee and take that out. So why would I bother rolling him over? Only reason I'm rolling him over because I think I want to hold him. A couple of problems with both of those techniques. Number one, you can just set it for a second. Again, with the hold, you always got to keep in mind what you're doing and why. You always got to assume that he may have friends. So you don't want to drop down into anything that's going to get you tangled up with this person and then realize, uh-oh, he's got friends coming in. I got to get up quickly. And in this particular one, here, I come in here, roll this over, and I get locked in here in this knee. The only way to get up from here quickly and effectively without getting tangled up in his legs and getting knocked right back down is to roll out. Okay? Well, that puts me down here on the ground with other attackers coming in here, right? So I'm not saying that's not a good hold. I'm just saying that if you don't know what the situation is, you may not want to go into a hold like that right away. I may want to go down some other type of hold to at least be able to look around and assess the situation. And once I'm comfortable that there are not other attackers coming in, then yeah, I go in and I'll set up a hold like that because it's just easier to do. So it's a good hold, but it's not something you want to immediately drop into, all right, until you're sure that it's safe to do something like that, right? The other one, the problem with the other one, again, rolling this over, putting this leg in here, folding this one over, and getting up in here and setting this hold. Again, this is a good hold, but we're talking about, go back over, Thomas is cooperating. He's not fighting me. So can you imagine someone who is just simply fallen over, that they're going to let you take their leg, put it in here, fold this one over, and get up here? It's never going to happen. As soon as you get right here, he starts kicking and flailing, and he's out of it. Kick and flail. There you go. There you go.
I get the kick. I go see flailing.
Yeah. Yeah. Just one simple move, and he's popped right out of that. Okay? So, to think that you're going to be able to set a complex maneuver, like folding those legs over, and he's just going to lay there and let you do that, it's not going to happen. All right? I'm not saying that you can't do something to put him in a more amicable mood to let you do that, but right off the bat, it's not going to work. All right, so what can we do? This quick, effective, can at least hold him momentarily or long enough that we can decide what we want to do next to go into an even better hold. All right, so what we're going to do is step back and down. When we first learned this, when you're first practicing it, just go ahead and step out. But once you've taken him down, you want to take the hand. It doesn't matter whether you go left or right. So whichever hand is on the outside of his leg, that one goes to the heel. Whichever hand is on the inside of the leg, it goes across the knuckles of the toes. Okay? You need to keep the pressure on this ankle lock all the way through the technique. All right? So I'm going to rotate, I'm going to turn here, and what you want to do as you're learning it, just go ahead and step out so you can learn what it is we're trying to do here. All you need to do is once you roll this out is just make sure that his leg part of his leg is perfectly perpendicular to the ground. That's all you need to do. Make sure the leg is perfectly perpendicular to the ground. So when you put it down, you look at it and you check it to make sure it's perpendicular. And then you simply crank the pressure in. Okay, now this may not look like a very good hold, but reality is, if he tries to roll, try to roll whichever way you feel might get you out of this. Okay.
First one felt that way, and then I was rolling into the lock.
Right.
The second one, then it felt like I should go this way, but I can't.
Okay. Now what's happening is, all we've done is, by making sure I've got my perfect 90-degree angle with the leg here and this cranked in, what's happening, I ensure that I've got both the knee and the hip into play. And it must be perfectly perpendicular to the ground, otherwise it won't work. If it's slightly out this way, when I do it, now try to roll. He just rolls right out of it, okay? If it's up here, okay, now try to roll. And still roll out of it, all right? But if it's perfectly perpendicular, it puts the knee into play, and the knee doesn't bend this way. So up here is here, and then because the knee won't bend, the hip comes into play. So it's very important that you make sure when you go down, you can look at this and make sure the leg is perfectly perpendicular, and then just continue to use this as a crank. And when you feel him try to move one way, you crank it in. He tries to move the other way, you just crank it back in. And that's it. It's like a steering wheel. It's everything you see him try to do, you just crank it in. And it's very important that it's not just with the toes, and it's not just with the heel. It's pull the heel, push the toes. It's a wheel. You're using it as a steering wheel, okay, to steer him. Every time he starts to move one way, you want to steer him back the other way, okay? And he's not going anywhere. Okay? Now, once you understand that, what you want to do is put this foot back in here. You'll find out later why, but for right now, just put that foot back in here, but make sure that it's locked in here. It's going to give you a little extra support against his leg, and something you can kind of lean on here as you crank on here. We'll tell you another reason why later, but for right now, just so Thomas can see exactly what I'm doing here. You need to in here. And it allows you, once you decide you want to go into this one, you can. But the other real reason that you do that is because from this hole, like I said, immediately he's not going to figure out he's going to test it the only way that seems logical. But the thing is, you could still get out of this. There are basically two ways out of this submission, okay? If you figured out what they are, exactly. You pull forward and pull that knee in.
Can you say that again? Two ways out of that submission?
Basically, just kind of roll slightly this way, and then pull that knee up underneath you. No, just come up. No, yeah, but come from this side, from this side. Now pull the knee up. There you go. There you go. Pull it up underneath you. You're right out of it. Okay, so knowing that that's one of the ways out of it, that's why this is here, so you can't pull that knee up and in. So you try to pull away like you did before.
Yeah, right.
See? Now he's not going anywhere.
I wouldn't even consider that one once your leg's in there.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. Okay. Now there is another way out of it, but I'll decide later if I want to.
Oh, come on. We're running out of this. Okay, give it to us now.
Okay, set it on me. There. Pull that again. Okay. So we always said the best and easiest way out of that is to try to scoop forward and pull that knee up underneath you. Okay. All right, that's not gonna work either because he's got that leg in there, okay? All right, so if I can't bring the knee to me, if I can't bring the knee to me,
Bring you to the knee.
bring me to the knee.
Okay.
Now got him. So scoot back.
Got it.
But you're probably gonna have to have a genius to ever figure that one out. All right. So that's at least gonna buy you time to check your surroundings, make sure it's safe to go into something a little bit more secure. And once you get him down here, he's got that. Even if you're here, you got that, and he keeps trying to look. He's going to test this about 3 or 4 times till he figures out he's not going anywhere. At that point, you begin to feel him calm down. Once he begins to calm down, now you can fold those legs up and in. But that's not going to happen while he's still kicking and screaming. Okay? So, there's nothing wrong with those holds, but they're kind of secondary. You do the first one first, and then when it's safe, you can go in and do whichever one you like to do and you want to do. Okay, so you kind of get the idea of what we're doing here. All right, clench, you pull the head, and you pull it back, and you get a leg, whichever is the forward leg. Okay, in, set down, rotate it up. Okay, so what have I got here? I've got my basic, but the only difference is instead of the hands here, I've got it in here. So when it goes down, well, this is scoot in here. So this is in the crook of your elbow. This is in the crook of your elbow. And you're using to set it. Again, the key is the leg perpendicular to the ground. Up here, okay, he's out of it. Down here, he's out of it, okay? But with that leg perfectly perpendicular to the ground, any way he tries to roll, he's not going anywhere. This leg, perfect. Now the good thing about this one is I don't need to put the leg in because I've got this. This is my block. I'm trying to pull that knee in, so I've got a nerve technique as well as the joint lock there. So it's the exact same technique. It's just a slightly different hold on it. All right. So again, we'll do it from this side. So here, this is in the crook of the elbow. I'll turn this in so I can get the blade of the bone, the ulna, into the nerve as I pull it in and set both ankle lock and nerve technique in there. Okay? But it's the same as before, but leg perpendicular, ankle lock. Rotate that ankle. Okay? The punch, I'm shoving this into his face and then whipping this back down to my armbar here. Okay? Now, armbar, again, this is a perfect position to disable this person. I've got this arm, I've got it propped up here, I've got all of my body weight right over the top of this elbow, and if I feel I need to snap it, then I just drop my body weight on it and pop, and it's gone, all right? So this is a perfect position to snap that elbow. However, to hold him for any length of time, this is not a good position. Couple of reasons. Number one is that for me to simply apply gradual pressure and make sure that the elbow doesn't snap, I need to get over and I need to start leaning down. Okay? If I stay up right here, I can't get enough pressure on the elbow. See, he's not even tapping yet. The only way I can get him to tap is to lean into it. And what's happening when I'm leaning and looking down? Again, I can't see what's behind me. All right? So yes, excellent position for snap that arm you're out of there. But as a hold, it's not a good position. The other thing is, he's got, the thing is, even people without any training can get lucky. They can just start squirming and testing the limits, and eventually, like a little rat, they'll find the hole to squeeze out, right? And that's what's going to happen in an armbar here, okay? If he's got any training, or you can figure out any way out of this, if I can't keep enough pressure on it, he's going to get out of this, okay? Tom should know a couple ways out of this.
Now, I'm waiting for you to ease up just a little bit. If you did, then I'm out.
Right, exactly. You give any little, and actually there's a couple other ways out of that. And like I said, he just gets lucky. He starts squirming, and eventually he's going to find a way out of it. And the reason is, when you drop down and you initially put that elbow lock on there, it's excruciatingly painful, and for a moment he's going to be frozen in pain and not know what to do. So you can hold him for a few seconds. However, what happens with any traumatic pain, such as you burn your hand, you cut your arm, it hurts like hell for the first few seconds. But then what happens, the brain starts shutting down the nerve endings. So eventually you go, yeah, it's kind of throbbing, but it's not that painful now. So the pain starts to lessen. And now you start thinking, oh, that doesn't hurt as bad as I thought it did. And now that's when he starts testing and starts struggling. And that's when he's going to figure a way out of it. So yeah, you could hold him like that for a few seconds, but it's not going to last. He's going to find a way out of it. Okay, so.
Just to clarify something, it's not my elbow because it's my shoulder's bad. You never get to the point where it's hurting my elbow, it's my shoulder.
Yeah, but if you didn't have a bad shoulder,
It would be my
you could pop out of that in no time, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
could probably figure out 2 or 3 ways out of that,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, a guy with a bad shoulder is not going to be the one that attacks you. Okay. People don't fight with bad shoulders. They just pull out a gun and shoot you. Okay, because they know they have limitations, right? So they have to make up for it. They're handicapped, so they have to make up for it.
So it's justified.
Exactly. All right, so how can we do it? Understanding, yeah, it's good for a moment. It'll give you a chance to start setting up a more secure hold. Okay, so what I will just, and so they can see. Okay, just turn this way so they can see. Okay, I'm in here. I got this locked in here. Okay, so this is going to be okay for a second, but I can't hold him that way for long. So what I like to do is I like to start bringing more joints into the picture. And the more joints I can bring into the picture, the better. Now this is working on his shoulder right now because it's bad. But if he didn't have a bad shoulder, this wouldn't be hurting his shoulder at all. Okay, so what I'm going to do is with this hand, I want to turn it here as I got the pressure on. I want to turn this so the palm is up. Okay, and that's okay. I can just let it go right there. It'll stay like that for a moment. Okay, and then I'm going to come in underneath and then I'm going to rotate this in. Okay, so by bringing more joints into the picture, he's getting more and more confused. Where is the pain really, and which way do I go? Because when he's got an elbow to worry about and a wrist, now he's concerned about, do I turn left or do I turn right? So while he's trying to figure that out, you've got that cranked in. Now, once he figures it out and he knows which way he could go to get out of it, now he can't turn and pull on to get out. So he's only got one other way out now, and that's to tuck his head and do a forward roll.
Yeah.
So I want to, again,
I'm not going to that shoulder.
yeah, no, he's not gonna do it because of his shoulder. Okay, now, and I'm gonna be nice to him because of this. But once I've got this in here, like I said, I always want to bring more joints into the picture and preferably eventually work it up to the shoulder, because that's the way I'm going to control more of his body. So this, once I got this, I don't have to worry about this. This elbow's locked. It's not going anywhere now. So here, okay, keep keep that shoulder down. I'm going to try to avoid putting any weight on it. And then okay?
Yeah.
Okay. How's the shoulder?
A little better, it just hurts in different ways.
Okay. Well, we'll give them a matching pair.
Great.
Okay. Here.
Where are you going? So I know what to do.
I'm going up onto your back. Okay. I'm going to try to.
You're going to sit up over on it?
I'm just going to bring my knee up onto your back.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So here. I turn this so that the palm is up. I come up underneath, so I got this. Okay. I'm going to let the pressure off completely on this. Okay.
Can I inject?
Yeah.
One thing is, and I'm doing this mainly for Thomas's sake. When we did the LAPD program, one thing we found is when you get the person down, if you can do anything with the arm, the first thing you do is you use as much pain as necessary in order to secure compliance. Tell them to turn their head the other way.
Yeah.
And the reason they do that is because
That gives me.
it now is easier to push the shoulder down. They think they're more comfortable. It doesn't hurt them as much until the shoulder is down, and then you're set.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just,
So
it-
now, normally I would keep this up here on my thigh, but
And at that angle, my shoulder won't hit the mat.
Right.
If it's too tight.
right. So for Thomas's sake, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out. Okay. But I'm going to show you this is going to stay in here. Okay. But for here, I'm going to take it out and just simply come up here instead. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I take him down. With the takedown, I'm immediately into this elbow lock. I want to turn so I'm looking at his palm. And I'm come underneath and get this and rotate this. Now, in a lot of cases, this is it. You can feel him struggle. You can put a little pressure, and he drops right back in, and he calms down. Okay, but you still feel this guy fighting. Okay, all you want to do is you want to let this slip down to the shoulder. Okay,
Yep.
and then I'm gonna
Thank you.
for him, and then come up on his back. Okay, and now he's not going anywhere.
Just do a half motion, just sit on his head.
Okay, turn this way a little bit so I can get this.
Okay.
Okay, go around. Flash, and then up onto the head. If he starts giving me any more trouble, I just put more weight there. Okay?
When you turned in, it took the pressure off my elbow, but it was real clear. I couldn't pull it out because I'd be hurting my shoulder more.
Right.
So it actually relieved the pressure on my arm, but it set the lock, so I couldn't get out.
Right. So that's why, like I said, I prefer shoulder locks.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer shoulder locks because I'm controlling a bigger portion of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And the more of the body you can control, the less movement he's going to have. All right? So elbow lock is good. It's a temporary thing. I want to come in here and just just snap it and go. Again, like I said, most of the ones we learn, they're great for disabling. They're quick, they're effective, and bam, something's broken. And now you just get up and walk away. But if you want to hold them, they're not that good for a long term. All right, so you need to add one more thing to it to make it more of a hold rather than just a singular lock. And what I'm trying to, most of these, you turn it from a singular lock to a multiple lock. We're going to go into the exact same shoulder lock, but we're going to do it from a different position. We're going to take a different route to get there, is really all we're going to do. Okay? So, a lot of the throws that we use, once you take them, this one was the one, I didn't really show it yesterday, so we're not going to really worry about the moving out. Strike with the temple, the adaptation coming in, and your drop throw. Okay, so you're going to have several throws or takedowns where you end up with them basically like this. And in most cases right there, we take the easy route and everybody learns from pretty much day one your figure 4 wrist lock submission. Okay, again, it's good if you can get into it quickly and snap that wrist and go. But I don't like it as a long-term hold. Again, there's too many ways out of it if he knows what to do. The other thing is what we were talking about earlier here, trying to get any fine motor movements in here to get a grip on this hand before you even have any real control over his body is tricky at best. Because if he's somewhat sweaty and you're in here and you're trying to get this slippery little hand that he doesn't want you to get, okay, it's not, you're just never going to get it, right? It's just not going to happen, okay? So even though you're here and your wrist lock seems to be your easiest thing, let's look for something else that's quick and easy to get into that doesn't require a lot of fine motor movements. Okay, over here, let's say take him down. When you do a Tai Tosh, you do it good. When you get, he's not going to land here. If you do a good Tai Tosh, he's going to land here, right? He's really going to get some momentum, and the legs are going to hit, and they're going to roll, and he's going to end up like this. Okay, so again, same shoulder lock. We're just going to a different route to get there. Okay, here. Now, instead of the last thing I do is the knee into the neck, it's the first thing I do into the neck. Then this just slips in here, and I've got the exact same shoulder lock that I had before here. Okay, so all it is let's just take it down. Just drop it.
Oh, throw it. You got a camera.
Yeah, see how he hit? The leg flopped over, and he's actually facing this way. Okay? So I've got this. Okay. So the first thing I do to immediately gain control over his body, like I said, control the head, you control the body, is immediately that goes into the neck. Okay? And then I set my shoulder lock. Okay?
Yeah.
Got it?